It usually goes that way. The first 5 minutes might even see just one person
Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes.
Hello and welcome to the Midweek Focus Show, and as you can see, I'm joined by Glen Kightley. Everything Arsenal is his YouTube channel, so make sure you go and check him out for everything about the Gooners, the mighty Gooners. And how are you, Glen?
I'm very good. I had a good week in FPL. Everything is going great, so I'm ready for the show. First, thank you for hosting me.
Slight technical areas there. I'm just getting to grips with it all, but I've seen on screen the mistakes, so don't worry, that will go away. So, Glen, for game week 7, how did you get on? I've got your team on the screen now if you would like to talk us through it.
Yeah, I'll start with the Friday night game I'll start with McCarthy and Grealish because they were coming up against each other. So either way, it would have been okay for me. So I was quite disappointed that McCarthy lost so many points in the final minutes, but I was happy at the same time that Grealish got me points because this was like his last straw. If he didn't return in this game, he would have been out, even though they have very, very good fixtures coming up still. For my defense, Dan, I had 2 free transfers this week, but I didn't really have anyone to bring. So I was just like, who do I bring on? Let me just play around with the transfer. So I ended up bringing Dan on. I don't quite remember for who, but I'll come back to that. And then Target has been a disappointing transfer for me. Brought him in game week 6 after the international break. The next game week after that, and 2 weeks, 1 point and 0 points, very disappointing. Reguilon, too, disappointing. He got a yellow card. I was like, oh no. I've brought him for West Brom and a home game against was it Brighton, and he has not returned anything, so that was disappointing. Another game he was benched, so I'm looking to probably sell him soon. I also had Mohamed Salah as captain. I didn't really fall for the peer pressure of captaining Son and Kane again. I always captain Son and Kane, and then Salah bangs, and then these other two failed to score, but this time around it worked for me. Zaha, it was just a punt. Like, since he's done well for me in the last 3 weeks, I just left him in, but I didn't really expect anything away to Wolves. I was super excited when he got that penalty, and I thought he was going to take it, and then I realized, oh no, Milivojevic is actually on the pitch.
Yeah,
luckily the penalty was taken away from the penalty was actually taken away from the main US. I was okay with that, and then Milivojevic got a red card, so I'm happy that maybe Zaha is back on penalties again. Wilson, had him since game week 1, never let me down. The week that I benched him for 2 weeks. One of them he returned 1 point, another one he gave an assist against Wolves, so I'm okay with that. Every week I've started him, he's scored 1-2 goals. Calvert-Lewin late goal, very happy with that, and Harry Kane got that penalty, I think. So I was okay with that. On the bench, Ayling, Lewis, and Trossard. Trossard, another disappointing transfer. Brought him in on my wild card as a punt, but it hasn't worked out. So that was my team. I'm happy with 60 plus points for this game week. Most people had like 40, so another good game week. I'm happy with my team. I still have 2 transfers, but I don't really see who I want to take out there.
Absolutely awesome, buddy. And you actually scored 68, which is exactly the same score that I had in the game week. And looking at your team there, very similar to mine in that you didn't have target play. Dan sort of let you down. Zaha let you down. I had Saiss not play. And then obviously you had Callum Wilson, which is pretty awesome. He looks a player, doesn't he?
He's worked out for me very well. He was always a target since game week 1. He was one of those people. I know people are going for Mitrovic in game week 1. People are going for Vardy. Some people are going for Firmino. And I was always like keen on having Wilson ahead of Calvert-Lewin. But since Calvert-Lewin started scoring goals, I was like, how do I actually fit both of them in? But I got to get out Mitrovic and bring in Calvert-Lewin, and Wilson has been scoring the goals every single week. So I'm definitely happy to own him for the next 2-3 weeks again.
Yeah, it seems that Wilson definitely ticks over through the season, doesn't he? Looks like a player that I might have to get in myself. And then Calvert-Lewin still doing it, isn't he? Despite no Richarlison or James, so that was a welcome goal as well.
Yeah, last minute. And the player brought in Dan for was actually James Justin. I was very frustrated. He kept a clean sheet against Arsenal and I just took him out. But I didn't expect anything away to Leeds. So Calvert-Lewin, for me, I don't really enjoy owning him. Funny I've said that because he's actually scored against Liverpool and against Newcastle the last 2-3 game weeks. But I really don't enjoy owning him. I would like owning Vardy in that position because I have spare cash in the bank. But if you take him out, you'll be in trouble if he scores. That's the one thing that is keeping him in my team.
Yeah, I have to say Vardy looks very good as well. Definitely one to eye up in next game week. And also I had Grealish as well, which was a huge relief. And Reguilon, I didn't even know had an injury. So he was benched, I knew that. But it looks like illness. 75% chance of playing next game. But he looks a good player, doesn't he? Very attacking.
Yeah, he is. But since I brought him in, he has not returned any clean sheet. Another game week where they kept a clean sheet. They conceded in the 90-something minute, I think. And then he didn't really play. And then the last game didn't keep a clean sheet. So it's really annoying to own him because it was either between him and Chilwell or Zuma. And I actually ended up with Reguilon. So if I had Zuma instead, I'd have had a bunch more points.
Nice. It's always about trying to either go, I think. I mean, it's very hard to go for both a clean sheet and attacking returns, but it definitely is either you go for an attacking defender or someone that you think could edge a clean sheet. So
the thing with Dan, just to add, sorry, Graham.
That's all right.
Dan.
Yep.
The thing with Dan, he actually had 2 very good opportunities from corner kicks. That's the reason I brought him in. And there's one that was cleared off the line and another one that I think went just over the bar. So he will have attacking returns. I'm not happy owning a Crystal Palace defender these days because they get so many injuries. But for now, I think I'll keep him in. But I'm looking to bring in an Arsenal defender. But yeah, we'll come to the preview.
As Arsenal start to become a bit better defensively. I think probably because we keep the ball better now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. I like the way you said that you've seen Dan, so you've kept your eye on him, and even though he hasn't returned, you basically, what you're saying is you can see him, there's potential for a return there, and it's just a matter of when, basically. I like that, buddy.
Yeah. The fullbacks, many people like fullbacks, but I always look at centre backs. It always makes the corner kicks interesting to watch, like I have a player here. So Dan and Duffy, when he used to be at Brighton before he left, such kind of players. And Gabriel, as you said, for us, is starting to look like he can head in a 1 or 2 and Zuma them those centre backs. So I'm happy owning Dan for now, but probably I'll sub out one of those defenders for Gabriel this coming week.
Yes, Gabriel, I like. I like that he makes a nuisance of himself in that penalty box. It's good to see that at Arsenal.
Yeah,
he goes either right on the keeper or right. He makes it really awkward, and I think it's just a matter of time before he gets his second goal from a set piece. So we'll move on now. We'll just have a look at the previous results and that. So it was Wolves 2, Crystal Palace 0. You had Podence turning up there with a goal, and Nori, the new youngster, an assist for Neto there. Thoughts on that game?
I didn't even know who that is. That name you've mentioned, there's no you could have had him as a king of the game week. So someone like that. The problem with Wolves, I want their defenders, but apart from Cody, who never goes forward for corner kicks anyway, there's no one really that you're sure is going to start. All the others keep rotating. Today there's Semedo, tomorrow there's Johnny when he's fit, tomorrow there's Vinagre when he was there, that's Fury guy.
Marcel.
So I was quite surprised. Marcel, so many defenders, unknown defenders that I don't even know about. So it could be a punt because if you own him and he scores, you have a gain on so many rivals. But as of now, I've not seen enough. But that game was probably what I expected. Expected Wolves to win and Crystal Palace to struggle, but kind of disappointing the way they conceded those 2 goals in the first half.
Yeah.
And Zaha getting a yellow card.
Oh, yeah, not the one. And also Podence, I actually benched him because I was frustrated with, like, he always looks involved and attacking, but just doesn't quite finish. And then he turned up in this game week when I benched him. So frustrating, isn't it, when that happens?
Yeah. It is very frustrating, but Podence, I know you guys, you and the Wildcats have been talking about Podence for the last 4 weeks, and I've never really been keen on him. I always seen some glimpses, but I've never been keen on him. But yeah, those who stuck with him, it paid off. Those ones who sold him and benched him, unfortunately, against Crystal Palace, if I had him, I would have started him, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm just going to hold him for another couple of weeks and see how Podence goes. He might have found his feet now and start returning more, but that's one to keep an eye on for sure. And then we move on to Sheffield United 0, Man City 1, and Kyle Walker with a goal and a KDB assist. Notably as well, Ramsdale with 7 saves. Thoughts on that game and players that you liked?
No, I've not owned a City player since game week 1. Basically, the whole season, I've not owned any United or City players, and it always scares me every time I watch their game. And this was one of those games I was really scared not owning Sterling. I felt like he was going to score. I felt like Foden was going to have returns, De Bruyne, but definitely not Walker. Clean sheet points maybe, but not double figure haul. Ramsdale 7 saves, probably they expect that because City always attack. But Walker was kind of a surprise. I've always wanted to own Walker, but I've never felt like he's going to play every single day. Sometimes he's turned into a centre back. Sometimes so many things with him. Sometimes injured. Sometimes they're rotated and stuff. So it was. I expected more goals from City, I'd say. So a clean sheet, not really. I had gone for a 3-1 win for City in that game, but yeah, probably went the way we expected.
Absolutely, I was in the same boat there. Haven't really had any City players. I think, game week 1, because they didn't have a fixture. I think that helped as part of that. De Bruyne was slow out of the blocks, shall we say. And then from then on, I've just coped without really. But I think KDB, I think Man City just starting to purr a little bit now. So might be a chance, like you said, Sterling, that would have been a scary watch not owning him. He's very attacking, isn't he?
Yeah, and against West Ham away, he missed so many chances, got so many opportunities, especially playing that centre forward role. But he's always a frustrating figure to own. He's so expensive and misses a lot of chances, gets tap-ins, misses, sometimes gets penalties, misses. I'll never forget I had him for Wolves away last season and he got a penalty missed. He was asked to retake it and he missed again and scored the rebound. So he's always a frustrating figure. But City players still not yet. I'm happy to see Jesus back, but again, they have Liverpool at home, so not easy.
And also, just a quick shout out to the FF Scout Academy, which I'm a part of, and I made my Cancelo choice as a recommendation on there, so make sure you go and check that out. He got a nice 2 bonus points, so absolutely delighted with the clean sheet as well. So one to look at as well, Cancelo going forward. I think
and scored in midweek.
I think Laporte also coming into that defence makes City a bit more reliable, would you say? A bit more solid?
Yeah, I'd say probably after the Liverpool game, they'll look very solid again. Probably if they have, if they find a way to fit in Laporte, Ake, and Diaz, I feel like they'll be very solid. But so much rotation in that team, so not against Liverpool.
And then I think there was a few in the Twitter community, FPL community, saying about Ramsdale and how they're going to keep hold of him and who needs Martinez, which is kind of funny. Martinez all of a sudden just started conceding loads of goals and not getting any save points at all, to my frustration.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Martinez is also another player I'd want to own, but I never trust Aston Villa, Fulham, those kind of teams. I never really trust them. So, Aston Villa actually keeping the most clean sheets in the first 5 games was very surprising. But Sheffield, I expect them to struggle. So their defenders, I had Egan for the first 3 games and it was very disappointing. He actually got a red card in that spell. So.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, he was a viable option. He did well last season, Egan.
He scored gold, but this season I think they'll struggle.
So then we go on to, it was Burnley 0, Chelsea 3. You had Werner coming in late for Pulisic, Zuma goal, Ziyech goal, and the Werner goal. Another assist for Ziyech, an assist for Abraham, an assist for Mount. Thoughts on Chelsea and Burnley?
Burnley struggling again this season. Chelsea, another team, I've not owned any of their players. I've actually been surviving without any City, United, Chelsea, any Liverpool defensive cover completely this season. And Chelsea is one team I'm definitely looking to get their players. Now, I told you at the start that I had a free transfer, I had 2 transfers heading into game week 7, and I didn't know who to bring in. So it was either bringing in Dan for Justin or taking out one of my midfielders and bringing on Pulisic. Thank goodness I didn't go that route, because I was about to remove Zaha for Pulisic. Would have been nothing, probably would have been a wasted sub. But Chelsea, probably if I'm going to bring in a player this week, if it's not Gabriel, probably going to be a Chelsea player. I want 2 transfers after the international break, so I'm going to only make 1 this week. But if I was to make 2 and get tempted, probably a Chelsea player. Werner, Havertz, frustrating character, like he gets so many opportunities, but is the player that will look flashy, but not many FPL returns. I want Werner, the person who's in the box, Pulisic, get yourself in the box. So I'm loving Chelsea, especially defensively. Zuma, so frustrated I didn't get him in early. Chilwell also didn't get him in. So Chelsea definitely a team to keep an eye on. Probably 2-3 players to have in their team.
Absolutely agree with you there. And like Mason Mount as well, I think he makes that midfield purr as well and tick along nicely. So he could be another option. Ziyech looks really good.
Yeah, go ahead.
So just saying, Ziyech looks really good as well. Werner's the obvious one. I've had him all along, Werner. Finally starting to get returns. Just a quick question for you, Glenn. Who would you rather have, Werner or Vardy right now?
Oh, Vardy. I still trust Leicester's. I trust Vardy more. He's shown me the last 7 years what he's all about. Werner, the reason I didn't have any Chelsea players was because I was like, they have not really proven anything yet. But if you take a look at the fixtures, you might say Chelsea. But long term, I'd say Vardy definitely.
Yeah, I agree with you, fixtures-wise, and then long-term for Vardy, absolutely. He just, even in the tough fixtures, Vardy turns up, doesn't he? Does the job. He's such a talisman. That pace of his is amazing. But yeah, in regards to Chelsea, I think Abraham's quite favoured by Lampard, isn't he? And interestingly enough, Werner wouldn't have made that game if Pulisic got the start. So I think that's something to maybe consider, is Abraham might be more of a favourite in that Chelsea team.
Maybe as a centre forward and a Werner on the left, probably. But I feel like Werner has to start for Chelsea. I think he's one of the few players who started like all the games for Chelsea this season, if I'm not wrong. Him and Zuma, I think, or in the Premier League. Yeah, so definitely Chelsea against Sheffield next. I mean, he can bring any of them, and I feel like they're going to return. But the safest pick as of now, because even ZH, I'm not sure is going to start every game. They have a Champions League game on Wednesday night, so let's see how it works out for them. But I'd go for their defenders first. Zuma or Chilwell first.
I'm on that train as well, buddy.
Yeah.
And then we go on to Liverpool 2, West Ham 1. We had Salah and Jota goal, 4-0 for West Ham. Shaqiri with the assist in that game. Thoughts on Liverpool and West Ham, Glenn?
You know, Liverpool, there's nothing as good as seeing your captain return in the first half. It's always so relieving. They get a penalty and they actually score it and not miss it. You always have those thoughts of what if he misses. So getting that early goal, very, very good. I actually swapped Salah for Mane on my wildcard. I had Mane for the first 4 game weeks and I've had Salah for the last 3. And nice. I'm happy with that, but Mane punished me against Everton. I think he had more points than Salah away to Everton. But Salah, penalties, always gets chances. They ran Atalanta around the pitch Tuesday night, him and Mane. Jota is a player I'm targeting. I'm loving Jota. Came again, scored the winner. This is a player I really want to own. I feel like Firmino is going to get dropped out of that Liverpool team very soon.
Yeah,
and Jota is going to get the chance. Yeah, and that will mean Salah and Mane as the forward players and Jota probably in behind them, depending on how he wants to work it out. But that game, West Ham getting the lead, I think it was a good thing for Salah captainers. Sorry. So, yeah, I think Sheffield scoring that goal. And forcing Liverpool to attack, I'd say that was a good thing for the Salah captainers. And Jota bonus points. That Jota goal actually took away 1 bonus point from Salah. That was frustrating.
Oh, that's always the worst when that happens.
Yeah, that was always the worst.
When a substitute affects bonus points and you're like, oh my, why? But yeah, West Ham now. My thoughts on West Ham is without Antonio, I think he was key in what he did and he was effective. But I think without him, I don't think Haller is that same player. I don't think he's that sort of alternative, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. Maybe he's like a target man, but Antonio, like pace-wise, like aerial ability is so far ahead of everyone. Depends on how long he'll be out. I'm not sure if you know about that, but I still feel like they have a couple of good players, but the problem is you can't really trust West Ham assets. That's the problem. But if Fornals, I want Fornals last after lockdown. Those are game week 34 plus, game week 35 plus. I had Fornals and he never returned anything. So frustrating.
That sort of player is slightly differential. You see him doing quite well, and then you get them in, they don't do anything. That's another frustrating thing in FPL, because differentials count for that rank jump, don't they, mate?
Yeah, and it's not that that when their team is doing poorly, that's fine. But seeing them go to Norwich, for example, and scoring 4 goals, Antonio scoring 4, and Fornals not getting anything, no return, no assist, no opportunity. They've even beat another team 3-0, I think, on the way. They even scored 3 goals against Chelsea at the end of last season. Nothing returned from Fornals. So frustrating. So, yeah.
Welcome Ollie Elkins to the chat. He's just asking about Man United, what do you think the score will be? Well, we'll get on to that shortly. We're just having a look at last week, having a recap before we look ahead. So that wraps up Liverpool and West Ham. And then on Sunday, it was Villa 3, Southampton 4. So you had James Ward-Prowse, 2 goals, 1 assist, Ings with a goal, Vestergaard with a goal. And then for Villa, Grealish, Mings, Watkins. But Grealish also had the 2 assists and Douglas Luiz the other.
Yeah.
Even old Theo Walcott turning up with an assist for Southampton. There's a name to remember.
Yeah, good memories. He actually gave me good memories as an Arsenal fan back in the day. Villa, Southampton, that I had to wake up for that game on Sunday. This was a very exciting game for me. I owned McCarthy, I owned Jack Grealish, I owned Target. So I was like, if it ends 0-0, all good. McCarthy clean sheet, Target clean sheet, a couple of bonus points. But if Villa score and McCarthy loses his clean sheet, then I'm hoping it's going to be Grealish returning. So it was a very exciting game. But the first half, it wasn't exciting. Ings, the person I actually took out Ings for Calvert-Lewin on my wildcard because I had to. And that was punishing to see him score that cracker against Villa. Watkins, did Watkins return? Yeah.
Yes.
Now we'll get to the second half. Let's talk about the first half first. Ings scoring that goal. And then in the second half, Ward-Prowse, was it in the second half or first half? Not quite sure. I think, first half, sorry. I think they were 3-0 ahead in the first half. Ward-Prowse getting those 2 free kicks. Another person I always wanted to own, but I always feel like, will he play every game? Will he get subbed off? Will he get a free kick? Will he get a corner to take? You're not quite sure now. It came to Vestergaard scoring that 4th goal, I think. And I was like, wow, no return from Grealish. McCarthy keeping a clean sheet, I'm okay with that, I guess. But Target on 0 points, I was really frustrated. And then Grealish won a penalty. And I was like, okay, this is our chance to get a Grealish goal. And he handed the ball to Watkins. I'm like second in my local mini league, and the first guy has Watkins, and I have Grealish. I was so frustrated to see him give that ball to Watkins.
Yeah,
I was okay with the assist, but I wanted those extra 2 points and an extra bonus point probably. But then, and then more frustrating that I had McCarthy in his clean sheet had been swept off and without a Grealish goal. But then they also got a second goal. And the third goal for Grealish, that was very, very relieving. Seeing him get that third goal in the 95th minute and getting a double figure haul and bonus points. And
huge relief.
Probably if you were to ask me how many points I was expecting for the 3 players I had in that game, I would say probably a total of 15 to 18 points. So getting close to 19, 20, I was okay with that.
No, that's good. That's all good. Grealish actually 15 points, really good. Massive relief, as you say, was a tense one for him to get them points. And Watkins, another good little player to look at there, seems to be doing all right for his age and everything. Ward-Prowse doing what he done. I'm not going to be sold on him yet. I'd like to see him do more if I was to consider bringing him in.
Yeah.
And Danny Ings, unfortunately, with his injury, isn't it? So, yeah, he can't go there anymore. So I think a lot of people have to transfer Ings out this game week. So there's definitely be a lot of strikers transferring in to people's teams.
Yeah, I'm just trying to take a look at my strikers in the first few game weeks, because when I was playing my wildcard in the last international break, I really wanted Watkins. I was like, he started firing hat-trick against Liverpool. This is a guy to get. I was really excited to see the way Villa are playing, like attacking. They're opening up teams, even though Liverpool were playing a high line that day. I really wanted Watkins or Grealish or Barkley, or even two of them. But then they started keeping clean sheets again, and I wanted that defender. So it was either Target or Mings. Again, went for Target instead of Mings. But my strikers currently, I have Kane, Calvert-Lewin, and Wilson. I'm happy with them, but I really wanted Watkins. So it was either Calvert-Lewin or Watkins, because Wilson was not going out of my team, and Kane was not going out of my team. So Villa probably looking good for goals, but probably found out defensively.
So I'm just sharing the stream here, just to see if anyone else will join. Let's have a look. And then we will go on to Newcastle 2, Everton 1. Wilson with 2 goals, which you know about because you had his points, lucky you. Everton, Calvert-Lewin with the goal, a late goal, which was very welcome. Because I think there was a lot of doubt around him without Richarlison and James. And then Ryan Fraser with the assist, and Alex Iwobi with the other. Thoughts on Newcastle and Everton?
No, this was another exciting. It was an exciting Sunday to watch football, because the first game I had 3 players, McCarthy, Target, and Grealish. And then the second game, I had Wilson attacking for the other team and Calvert-Lewin attacking for the other team. I also had Lewis, I think, in my team on the bench somewhere. So I had him on the bench. So I wanted Everton to score goals. I wanted Newcastle to score goals, get me returns. Calvert-Lewin did miss a chance. Wilson did miss a chance. But getting that penalty, which I actually don't think it was supposed to be a penalty. And then he got booked. I usually don't like players who get booked in such a silly way. Wilson and Zaha the last week, like just arguing and punching people. I don't like that. So at least he did get me that goal, and he actually went on to add the second. And then Calvert-Lewin, that last minute goal, that was very, very relieving. So I think I'm happy with my strikers. I was happy with that game. And I was very, very happy that the clean sheet went, because I had Lewis on my bench and he was looking to get 7 points.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Wilson and DCL, they'll both tick over for the rest of the season. Kind of Danny Ings territory, I'd say, with them two.
Yeah.
But yeah, frustrating when you pick up little yellows just for arguing. You're like, no, this is my FPL point. Stop it. Stop arguing. Just walk away.
1 point is very important in FPL.
We'll move on to a great game. It was Man United 0, Arsenal 1. I bet you've talked about this one many times on your channel, Everything Arsenal.
Yeah.
Aubameyang with the goal and Hector Bellerin with the assist. Thoughts on Arsenal? Go ahead, go for it.
Now, the thing with Arsenal, we all know as Arsenal fans, you never trust Arsenal's defense, even as an FPL manager. You take away the emotion of supporting Arsenal, and you just don't own their defenders, because we know what is going to happen. But this season, we've seen, and also the thing, I wasn't really sure who was going to play. For sure, I know you did own Gabriel, if I'm not wrong. Did you own him?
Sorry, it just cut out there. You said owning Gabriel, yeah?
Yeah, you did own Gabriel, right?
Yes, I did indeed.
Yeah,
got the clean
I remember you talking to Nim about that, and I was like, why does Graham have Gabriel? But then I started seeing he's actually becoming a mainstay in the team. and Tierney is becoming a mainstay. Bellerin now, no rotation with Cedric, and Niles is going to play every single game. The problem is, who is Gabriel going to partner next, either Luis or Holding or whoever. But Gabriel all of a sudden looking very strong in attacking wise, like corners from corners. He can get a goal anytime. If you look at Tierney, the way he crosses the ball every time, gets a chance. Against Leicester, when we lost 1-0, like I said, to me, it's like 3 chances from Tierney crosses. Very, very attacking. Bellerin going forward every single time. This is a game I wasn't expecting a clean sheet for sure. Aubameyang, I did own him for the first 5 game weeks, but FPL TV made me actually remove him in game week 6. I was like, you know what, we actually have very, very tough fixtures. So I actually took him out, and I was kind of happy because he didn't return against City, didn't return against Leicester. But against Villa, I'm also really looking forward to getting an Arsenal player. I don't know if it's going to be Aubameyang, but if you bring in Aubameyang, it will have to be Son or Salah going out, and I'm not sure about that. So I'm happy that I actually didn't end up getting Rashford. I was really keen on getting him. After he scored that hat-trick, I was like, wow, Evan will get him and he'll score against us, obviously. So I was kind of happy he didn't own a United player. But this is a game exciting to watch as an Arsenal fan, but not as an FPL manager for me.
Absolutely, mate. And in the Arsenal camp with you on that one. I just love the way that we keep the ball now. Honestly, I don't mind it. A lot of people saying against Leicester sideways passing and all that. But I think it's a system. It will come in time. Like, I think we'll start opening teams up more like City do, you know, in that way. It will come in time, and Partey and El Neni look really good in the middle together. That's a new, exciting partnership, I think, for Arsenal. And yeah, Aubameyang, I wouldn't get him in yet still. I think he's a big player for us. But playing out on the left, he doesn't quite do it like Salah or Mane. Like, not as consistently, it seems. But then his stats tell you otherwise. So it's a strange one. He seems to go under the radar still. I think he'll probably turn around and haul big soon. Hopefully, anyway.
We have Villa at home, and then some games that I'm expecting end-to-end play, like away to Leeds, I'm expecting it to be end-to-end 3-4-4-3 something. So Aubameyang is 90 minutes every day. You know he's going to play 90 minutes every day. Even though he got subbed off against United and I started wasting time and stuff. I love that, by the way, as an Arsenal fan. So yeah, for me, probably targeting United now after the international break, probably Rashford and Martial is back, and then Arsenal defenders probably.
Nice. So, moving on to, I hate to say it, but at the same time, FPL-wise, Spurs 2, Brighton 1. Kane and Bale with the goal. Lamptey with a goal for Brighton. Pascal Gross assist, Reguilon assist. So, thoughts on Spurs and Brighton, Glen?
Now, Lamptey is one of those players that I've always wanted to get, because the way he attacks every single game, but I really can't find a spot for him, and I can't convince myself that Brighton is going to get a clean sheet. But he's not even there for clean sheets. He gets so many attacking returns. Tottenham, you know what we think about Tottenham, but FPL-wise, Kane and Son and Reguilon, I was expecting a whole lot more points, like not just like 10 points from 3 of them. Son frustrating. I was actually watching that game as I was doing the review for the Arsenal games. I had an eye out for that, and I couldn't believe that Son wasn't returning anything. But I was kind of okay because I knew many people had captained Son and had captained Salah, so I wasn't really frustrated that he wasn't going to return because many people had captained him. And I was happy Kane returned something. Reguilon, disappointing. Clean sheet went in the second half. The goal shouldn't have stood, to be fair to Tottenham. That should have been a foul. So he could have easily have kept a clean sheet. Also, Son normally gets subbed off, very, very frustrating. But I'm happy to keep them as of now. Against West Brom, let's hope for 5-6 goals from them.
Oh, I know West Brom look very leaky, don't they? I feel sorry for Bilic. You can see Bilic is just like, oh no, here we go again. But Lamptey, like you say, he's very attacking, but that's why I don't have him. Because I'm dreading that Brighton cannot keep a clean sheet, and it just puts me off. But he's so attacking in every game, you start thinking, well, hang on a minute, I'm missing out on this. And he's
Yeah.
like really attacking. Such a great talent. He really is. And
Yeah.
I can see him continuing. Maybe it's a matter of time before I get him in. A
Yeah, it's very quick.
lot of the time, I go for one boring centre back at least, or two,
Yeah.
and then I have two attacking, just like you would in a defence, two centres and two sort of wing backs. So that's exactly how I have my FPL players. So I'm starting to weigh up the idea of, say like I had Zuma or a Connor Cody. I know the fixtures don't go for clean sheets now for Wolves, but before, that's what I'd go for. Sort of just a clean sheet, 6 points. But Lamptey makes me go, I'd swap one of them boring clean sheets for some attacking returns, because he just looks so positive, doesn't he?
Yeah, and their next fixture, that is a game you'd expect a clean sheet and an attacking return. So if you're going to get him, probably get him for this game week. But yeah, frustrating that they never keep clean sheets these days. Back in the day when they had Chris Hutton, Brighton was a defensive team. But these days with Porter, they attack a lot. And I had Trossard. I've had Trossard and he's not returned. You know, I watched Brighton against United that day. They considered a penalty after the final whistle. And they had so many opportunities. Lamptey crossing the ball, Trossard post. Lamptey crossing the ball again, Mope, the hair save. And I was like, I have to get one of their players. They're facing Crystal Palace. They're facing Burnley. I had to get one of their players. So disappointing that they have not really returned recently. Mope has been dropped to the bench. So that was a surprise.
Welcome, FPL Tips Harry, to the chat. Thanks for joining us, mate. And then, Bale. I managed to get the goal off of Gareth Bale, which was a big relief because he came on as a sub, and whenever a sub comes on, you're like, I'd rather have the Podence points off of the bench. But he managed to get a goal and pipped Podence by 1 point. I was over the moon with that. Thoughts on Bale? Is it too early to own him yet, or do you think he's starting to get into that side, starting to start, shall we say?
I think it's too early. I think if you wait for like game week 10, when he starting games, the problem is as of now, there are so many games, the Europa League games, which is starting, and then he drops on the bench for the Premier League games. The thing is, I think he'll be starting. I'm guessing Mourinho just didn't want him to play like, for example, Burnley away, tough game for a new player like that. Okay, it's not new, but recently, I don't think he's faced that kind of Burnley team. So I'm guessing he'll start starting games like in a couple of weeks' time, but not really now. This is a game you'd want him in. Like West Brom, if I was sure he was going to start with Son and Kane, you triple up on them.
Yeah, very true. Sorry, it's just Harry making a good point in the chat about having the wing back, but it depends. I understand what he's saying, but it depends. Like if you had a Wolves attacking wing back, just say when the fixtures were good, as we said, you'd have that over Cody. I think the reason why, Harry, was I just went for Cody for definitely a guaranteed start, and I couldn't necessarily guarantee that Saiss was going to start and get the minutes that I knew Cody would get a full game. There's that as well, which I didn't say, to be fair, but totally understand. Yeah, it makes sense what you said, because with an attacking wing back, it's still the clean sheet plus them attacking returns. So totally get that. Absolutely. Thank you for your input, Harry. And then Kane as well. I mean, you can't not talk about Kane. He's been on absolute fire this season, hasn't he? Which scares me to say. But yeah, he's been a captaincy option. Do you have him in your team?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I'm trying to check when I brought him in, because there was a game where I think after United, I had seen enough. After United, I was like, no. Him and Son look very, very good together playing up front. And then I brought him in, I think, in game week on my wildcard in game week 4.
Yep.
And I captained him in, I think it was game week 5, game week 4. Yeah, I brought him in on my wildcard. I brought in Kane and took out Ings. And then that was on my wildcard. And then in game week 5, I gave him the captaincy straight away, and he returned 32 points against West Ham. 2 goals scored, an assist, 3 bonus points. I was happy with that. Game week 6 again, though, I was tempted to captain him again. Didn't really return. Game week 6, he did return again against Tottenham, a late assist, but it wasn't really enough. Should have captained Son there instead of him. And in game week 7, returned that goal. I was happy they got that penalty, and he never misses penalties. So I think with him and Son for those fixtures, it was a good time owning him. But maybe going forward, maybe you don't have to own both of them.
Yeah, fair enough. Kane looks really good. Son as well. I think just because Son didn't get returns last game, I think it doesn't mean jump off of him. We know he could be doing it again, so next game he can definitely get more returns than Kane possibly, but I do think Kane just edges it for me out of the two.
Yeah, you know why I love Kane and Son?
Yeah.
Every time they get an opportunity outside the box, they will shoot the ball. They do not mess around. Them too, like anytime they get a window to shoot the ball, they will have a shot. And he's not afraid to express himself. But after West Brom away, they have City at home, they have Chelsea away, they have Arsenal at home, they have Liverpool away, 4 of the next 5. I know they will still score in those games. I'm probably sure they'll get a couple of penalties. Kane will score, but can you really own both of them? Can you expect a total of 30 points from both of them in these games? I don't think so. So I think that is the time now. I can now move in for City players and United players probably.
Yeah, I agree with you. Starting to look that City way and get off of either Son or Bale is what I'm thinking. Hopefully this game we could get lucky, but I'll talk about that in a sec. And then we go on to Monday's games, which was Fulham 2, West Brom 0. Bit of a bottom game there. Scotty Parker, I had him down as getting relegated. First manager to get the sack, and then he manages to get a win. But it is against West Brom. De Cordova, Reed scoring, and Aina. Mitrovic with 2 assists. Mitrovic finally sort of turning up. Thoughts on Fulham, Mitrovic, and West Brom?
You know, I only owned Mitrovic for 2 game weeks. That was game week 2 and 3, and he scored 2 goals in game week 2. And I think he had an assist in game week 3. So I was really happy to get him out right on time.
Good move.
Because they've really struggled since. And seeing him getting those 2 assists was kind of frustrating because I know a couple of people on him. I would have preferred Reed to assist himself and score someone no one owns. But for me, Fulham, I don't think so. Like, I've always wanted Joe Bryan since game week 1, but as soon as I realized the defense is totally awful, and he didn't even start the last game against West Brom, I was hoping I'd see more of Pereira in that game. Didn't really see anything. So I think if anyone was to pay £15 for this one, this is a game to avoid. So it wasn't really interesting.
Yeah, don't go wasting your money on Sky.
Yeah.
It's awful, isn't it, what they're doing? But that's another story. And then Mitrovic, for me, he had all them green fixtures to begin with, and I was thinking, oh, he could be, but I managed to get away with not owning him. I didn't bother, so kind of glad in a way. You seem to time your move with him well, so well done for that.
Yeah.
That's satisfying in itself. It's not always about chasing points, it's about getting off at the right time as well. That can be very key. So well done, Glen. And then Leeds 1, Leicester 4. Wow, what a game that was. Leicester, amazing. Tielemans, 2 goals. I think one was a penalty, wasn't it?
Vardy,
Vardy,
I think with Tielemans, I'm really surprised that I think he's already scored like 4 goals this season. 2 penalties. He's been lucky because Vardy has been off the pitch at that time. But everything is working out for them very well. Even against us, they defended very well. And they don't even have half of their defenders. Pereira is out, Chilwell went, Soyuncu is out, Evans was out, even Morgan was on the bench. So they had basically a second team of defenders, and they still managed to play very solidly. But that game, the amount of chances Barnes and Vardy had in those first 30 minutes, I was like, oh no. I know a couple of people who own Barnes. I owned Barnes for 2 game weeks, didn't return. I took him out. That was at home to Aston Villa and at home to West Ham. Took him out. So that game, seeing Leicester score 4 goals, that has really convinced me that I need Vardy in this game. And I think they've already gotten like 6 penalties this season, so that's crazy. They're attacking very, very well. And Vardy, probably even Castaño's out, so that was another one I was targeting, but he was
Oh
also
no,
out.
yeah, I had him injured on my
Yeah,
bench.
yeah, they were missing like 7 crucial defenders, so that was a really surprising result. I had Ayling in my team from Leeds, but I had him on the bench because I expected them to concede a few goals. So that was relieving. Ayling, one of those players that I'm looking forward to transfer out.
Yeah, I bet. I think he had a bit of a howler that game. Didn't impress me. Because I
Mm,
had Helder Costa, he frustrated me. I was like, "What are you doing? What's he doing? He just passing to no one, giving the ball away."
yeah,
And I was like, "That's not looking like the Ailing from weeks before. Like they just weren't at it, Leeds at all. They really weren't." But full
yeah,
credit to Leicester. I think they manage games well, don't they? They sort of control them, soak it up, and hit you on that counter with Barnes and Vardy's pace. Watching Barnes was very uncomfortable because I did
yeah. When you
own him
don't
for
own him,
so long, and I was like, "What was the
yeah,
point in me getting Grealish for you?" And you just start doing that, as in
yeah,
previous weeks. I know this week Grealish did haul, but before that, it was like that sort of move. It's like, I was like, oh well, he won't be able to do it again. He'll blank next game week, and I found that with Barnes last season, he's not
yeah,
consistent enough.
yeah.
A player I
You'll
do
always
like.
like.
What do you think of Şengus Ünder when he comes on and plays?
I'm guessing those two assists that he's had in the last 2 games has probably earned him a start in the next game. So I don't know which team they're playing this week. Is it Wolves at home? So probably if you want to have him as a punter, I think he's going to start this weekend because of those 2 good impacts or great impacts in the last 2 games. But I know he's a good player, but he hasn't really started, so I don't think you can really get on him. Barnes, as I've said, I owned him at home to West Ham and at home to Aston Villa. He scored a goal that one of those games got disallowed, and I took him out straight away. But the attacking, I think it's time to actually get one of their players. If you don't own Vardy, probably Barnes, because they will get chances against any team, as you said.
Okay, so that wraps up that Leicester game. Now we have a look into game week 8, which I'm absolutely hyped for. I always love a new game week. Obviously,
Yeah.
wait for the European games and hope players get through unscathed. And we've got on Friday, we've got Brighton Burnley. So who do you think will win that one out of Brighton and Burnley?
If you're looking forward to like go out with your friends on that day, if lockdown hasn't started wherever you are,
Oh
you
no.
can go out on that on Friday night. That is not an interesting game to watch. I'm going to go for 1-0 to Brighton. Probably you can see a second half goal, like a corner or something from Dunk.
Sean Dyche will have words with you, Glenn. I think he'll be disappointed. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
1-0.
think I think Brighton got to win it, haven't they?
Yeah, we think they'll keep a clean sheet, and it's hard to know who will score. Probably not many attacking returns in that game, so 1-0 to Brighton.
Here's a question for you then: will you be starting Lamptey in game week 8?
Well, I don't own Lamptey in my team, and I don't
Oh,
think,
sorry, I
yeah,
thought you did.
I don't think I'll get him for this week, but I really wanted to get him in, but I don't think I'll own him for this week, hoping Burnley will get a goal from nowhere.
Yeah, I can see both teams scoring. I think Brighton should
Mm,
be the better team, but it's like we discussed earlier, they just can't keep that clean sheet.
yeah.
Also on Friday at 8 o'clock. So if you wanted to go out and come back, possibly, Glenn,
Yeah.
Southampton versus Newcastle. What do you think to that game then?
That is going to be an interesting game. I think Ings is out injured now.
Yes.
So for me, I own Lewis. Lewis has been in my team for 3 weeks. I've benched him for all those 3 weeks, but this time round, I'm going to put him in this fixture, hoping Southampton don't really run riot as they did against Villa. And Wilson, I'm expecting another goal from him in this game. The way if Southampton play like they did in the first half against Villa, they'll win. If they play like they did in the final 10 minutes where they conceded almost 3 goals, then I'm happy to own Wilson. So in this one, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
It's very interesting. I think I think without Ings, I really do think he gets things going for him. They do look a lot better now, Southampton. It's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a really tough one. I think both teams will definitely get a goal, though. That's inevitable. So I think I'll sit on the fence and I'll go 1-1 with this game. Wilson hopefully bagging a goal for you and some nice FPL points there.
What we've seen at Newcastle, the last away game against Wolves, 1-1.
Yeah.
The previous before against Tottenham, where they scored a last-minute penalty, 1-1. So both teams actually do score. So I'm expecting another 1-1 in another Newcastle away game. I did a preview with the Newcastle fan earlier on, and she actually said that she doesn't expect them to win. So she expects a draw from that. It's going to be a tough fixture for them. So yeah. Don't go all guns blazing for Newcastle. Don't bring in Saint Maximin, Almiron, and Wilson. No.
Oh no way! Saint Maxim hasn't really got going this season in my eyes. He needs to up his game a bit more and show what he did last season. It was very impressive last season.
Yeah.
But you've got McCarthy in goal, haven't you? So you'll be hoping for save points. A lot of save points.
Yeah, I don't know how many save points Newcastle attack can give you, but these days, luckily, they have the likes of Fraser and Wilson. So if Newcastle don't score, I have a clean sheet. If they do score, I'm hoping it's Wilson. So another interesting game to watch on Friday night.
Well, if Wilson gets the goal for you and then points, that'll be lovely. And then every other shot and McCarthy saves, you'll be writing down all the saves on a bit of paper and adding them up.
And then Lewis assist for...
Oh, Lewis looks a good player, doesn't he, down there? He's an attacking defender, but I don't think he's quite got that where I'd put him in my team, but he looks like he's got some great potential. You definitely go Lamptey over him.
I brought him in because I really didn't want to spend so much money in defense, so I just had him like a bench option.
Not alone there, mate, because I had him game week 1 until, what was it, Basuma done that funny old kick, and then I had to ship him out.
You reminded me of Basuma. I owned Basuma for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The first week I owned him, he got a red card. I benched
painful.
him. When he came back, I had him as the last sub, and he scored that volley away to Everton. So painful. So painful to own Basuma, but yeah.
And then Saturday's fixtures, we start off with 12:30 Everton v Man United. That's an interesting one. I think I'm not sure if James is available yet or Richarlison.
James, no, that's the thing. It's not so hard to predict this game. But if James or Richarlison, both of them are out, I'm going to go for United win painfully. But if one of them is there, they might actually get a draw. If both of them are there, they'll beat United. For now, I think United will actually have Martial back, so I'm guessing they'll win probably 2-1 or something.
I do like Alan in that defensive midfield role, with Decore being a bit more attacking and defensive. And I think that works so well. Them two win the ball and they play it left to Richarlison, right to James, and then them two can find DCL or whoever. They've just got that quality. If they are playing, I could see DCL having a field day against Maguire. But
I think
I'd have to say, because Everton played all right against Liverpool, didn't they? They done well, I think. I'm pretty sure they did.
They did, but they had all their players. Right now, all of a sudden, Coleman is out.
Yeah,
Richarlison is still suspended. I'm just saying Richarlison is out until the 21st of November, so that is a blow. So you can even see, if you see the way they played against Newcastle, they had to score in the 91st minute. If they play that same team that played that day, United can actually keep a clean sheet, unfortunately. So they have to get Rodriguez to play in this game, because luckily for them, they have Digne back. So I'm probably going to go for United win.
Oh, yes, good point. Luckily, because he got his ban reduced to 1 game instead of 3.
Yeah, he would have been missing too, so it would have been a walk in the park for United, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 to United. Rashford getting a goal. And
I
then
agree with that.
we go on to Crystal Palace and Leeds. Oh, will Leeds come back and be better this time? What do you think?
I think they will. I think they'll score 3 goals in this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, 3-2 to Leeds. I'm hoping Zaha returns. I'm hoping Dan gets an attacking return. I'm really looking to bench him, but I'm not quite sure. When you bench such kind of a player, he will score. Like,
Yes.
I remember I actually owned Michael Keane, Everton, and I put him on the bench and he scored against Liverpool. And I was like, I thought you were going to concede 6 goals against Liverpool and you end up scoring. So probably Leeds will score this time round. So if you own Bamford or Harrison, you're lucky. I think they'll score. Now, their defense not quite sharp this time round. Crystal Palace, so many injuries.
I think it's going to be a good game. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Leeds. I think Zaha will get the goal. I think Leeds are going to come back and riot since their Leicester defeat. I just see them bouncing back strongly.
Yeah, they do run. They do run away from home, like the way they ran around Aston Villa. They just use like pure effort to win games.
Yeah, they're not going to give up, are they? They're going to go for it. I think they like to go. They like to play attacking against whoever they play, which is very brave.
I can see United's team. They've benched Greenwood. This Greenwood guy is one player I've never really wanted to own. I did own him last season for like 3 game weeks and he returned in all of them. But this season, I've never really seen him as an option for United. I don't know what you think about him.
Greenwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him, but now got off him a little bit. But keeping my eye on him, he's very attacking. But I think Arsenal, they froze them 2 out. They done really well the last game. That danger's always there. So against weaker opposition, I think Greenwood could start scoring again. But not for that price, really. It's one to keep an eye on. There's probably better options out there, though.
Yeah, I don't enjoy owning him. That's the word.
And then we go on to 5:30 kickoff. It's Chelsea, Sheffield United. Chelsea, I think, will probably win that one. What do you think, Glenn?
Yeah, I'm very, very scared going into that game without any attacking Chelsea options because I'm going for a 4-0 win. And I'm thinking they'll run right in that game. And final game before international break, they'll put everyone. They'll start everyone, and ZH can get a couple of assists. Werner can get a couple of goals. So I really want to get a Chelsea player for this week. I don't know why. I'm actually thinking of sacrificing my substitution for an extra substitution for after the international break just to get in a Chelsea player. Clean sheet for them. Big points this week for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think Chelsea win it. Absolutely. Starting to play better. Got all their key pieces of the puzzle all in that side now, the ZH. They're missing Pulisic, though, obviously, but that didn't seem to stop them. And I think Sheffield United been defending poorly. I'd expect a Chelsea win there, definitely. Hopefully, I've got Chilwell, Werner, and I'll be revealing tomorrow who else I actually have for Chelsea. But yeah, Chelsea win. Let's go for Chelsea 4-1 winners. Hopefully not, though.
They'll concede.
Yeah, hopefully not. But I just Sheffield United, they seem to get scrappy late goals sometimes. Hopefully not, though. For FPL, hopefully not. And then West Ham versus Fulham at 8 o'clock.
West Ham against Fulham. I don't know if Antonio is back for this week, but this is a game I'm actually expecting Mitrovic to score this week too, to end his drought, and but West Ham will win 3-1 to West Ham. If Antonio is playing, he'll score. But this week probably a good time to own a punt. I'll actually go for Yarmolenko. I think he'll start this week and score.
Yeah, and I think defensively Fulham not the best, so maybe someone like Susek could pop up with a header in that midfield. You never know, but I'd definitely say West Ham have to win this with or without Antonio.
Yeah, they have to win this game.
I'd go 2-1 winners West Ham against Fulham, but with Antonio I'd go 3-1.
Yeah, I agree 3-1 either way.
And then Sunday it's West Brom versus Spurs, and I think my captain might be playing in that game. How about you?
I agree. I agree with you. Like, sorry, my captain will probably be playing in that game too. I think you have to. I think I can see a big win for them. Those are the kind of games Kane scores hat tricks in.
Yes.
Like West Brom away, you can see Kane scoring a hat trick, a couple of penalties. So I'm going to go for 4-2 Spurs win.
Are you tempted by a triple captainship, or will you save it for the double game weeks? Does this make you think you could use it?
It does, but I'm not really sure on triple captaining in a Tottenham player this early. Yeah, West Brom could end up frustrating them, and since they have a Europa League game on Thursday, you never know what happens, like who is going to play how many minutes and stuff like that. So, no, just captain a play in that game and leave the triple captain for later.
I can imagine, hopefully, the triple captain in a double game week. The double game week fixtures are nice and easy for someone like a Kane or a Son. That'll be good. So, yeah, I'll probably be holding on to mine. But I do believe Tottenham are going to destroy West Brom. Bilic will be crying. I think it'll be 4-0 Spurs.
Yeah, unfortunately for them.
And then Leicester versus Wolves. Now obviously there is another big game, but I think this is one of the best games this game week. Leicester Wolves. What do you think of that cracker?
Leicester win for me. It's going to be a very good game, but
yeah.
Leicester are playing so well, and Wolves, I'm not seeing them as a threat. They've been the last 2 seasons. They're struggling to score goals. I think they scored 1 against Leeds. They scored 1 against Palace or 2. So they're struggling for goals.
Yes.
So I wouldn't really go. But I can see Jimenez scoring. But Vardy, I can see him scoring another couple in this game. So Leicester win for me, probably 2-1.
Yeah, no, I like that. I'd be exact. So after the way that Leicester have been playing and they've been beating, City, Arsenal, if they can do that and soak up all that pressure and hit on the attack, Leicester going to win. Like you said, Wolves not been that convincing going forward. They've only just started getting it together, really. So I think, Leicester, I'd go Leicester. Sorry, hiccup there. Leicester 2, Wolves 0. I don't think Wolves will even get a goal. I think Leicester will just nullify them.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Here's another game. Possible captaincy choices in Man City versus Liverpool. Who are you going for in this one, Glenn?
I'm actually really tempted in taking out Salah this week. I don't know why. I feel like it's going to be a hard game for both. It's not going to be like a 4-3 or something. It could easily be a 1-1 or 1-0, and could see frustrations and emotions running high in this game, people picking up yellow cards. So I'm going to go for probably, I think a draw, maybe 1-1 draw for me. But captaining, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. Yes, of course, you can captain Mane and Sterling in this score, but for me, I'm not really looking at this game for any captains.
No, I could see it being exactly the same, to be honest with you. I could see it being frustrating and people slamming the armband on Man City differentials. Obviously, your Salahs, your Manes as well for Liverpool. And I've just got... my gut just tells me that it's not going to be a big haul from these players. I'd go either 1-1 or 2-1 with you. I don't think there's going to be too much in it. And I could imagine Jota coming on and scoring. So no goal.
I think he'll start.
Yeah, you think after his performances he deserves to, doesn't he?
Yeah, he deserves to start, and if he starts I can actually see him scoring again.
Absolutely. I think a draw though. I think they'll both... No, do you know what? Man City 2-1 winners, they'll edge it. They'll just edge it. Starting to play better now, got Laporte back. Liverpool still question marks in their defence slightly. I think City might just take advantage. And,
I agree
and then
with you.
the best game of the week, obviously, is Arsenal versus Villa. It's the last game. Thoughts on that?
This is one game that I'm really looking to get Arsenal, because as I say, that would be my go-to option for my sub this week if I'm forced to make the sub. Of course, I have 2 transfers, so I have to use one. Either Gabriel or I'm tempted to bring in Aubameyang for Salah for this week. I feel like we're going to score at least 3 goals this time round.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we know Martinez's weak side. And he has been conceding a lot. Villa have been conceding a lot. I see us keeping the ball, frustrating Villa. Unfortunately, I've got Grealish in there, so I don't think he'll be getting any returns. Hopefully Gabriel does, though. And interested to see Partey, El Neni again. I think they'll both start.
Yeah.
I think Lacazette scores a couple in this one, and I think Aubameyang assists.
It's very, 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 very possible, by the way.
I'm going to go for... I have got to do it, haven't I? Arsenal... It's Arsenal 3-0. Villa are not getting a goal. They're not doing it. We're not letting it. We're starting to keep clean sheets now. That's the faith, anyway.
Yeah, that's the hope. Yeah.
The scared part of me wants to go Arsenal 3-1. Villa get their goal no matter what, you know. But I'm going with positive energy and we go 3-0 to the Arsenal. So hopefully.
Yeah, I'm benching Target and Grealish for this week.
So, last final thoughts of you. Who do you think you're going to be captain in this game week?
Okay, and for my team, let me start with the ones that are probably not obvious picks. I'm probably going to say Zaha at home to Leeds. I think it will be a high-scoring game, so he's an option for me. But just to be on the safe side, as United concede to Istanbul, I'm going to go for probably Kane. Kane for me, or Son as the vice captain.
Yeah, I've got Kane in. I've kept captain him, and I'm not going to turn away from him now. I don't want to risk it, and I think that there's a lot of returns there for Kane against West Brom, and if they really are attacking him, and I can see Ivanovic giving away a penalty, I can just see that happening, and Kane gets on to that. So yeah, Kane,
the funny thing.
Yep.
The funny thing with Ivanovic, I don't think he was brought in to play such games. I'm thinking maybe he was brought in to play those games he's played, like Brighton and Burnley. These games he's played before, but not Tottenham away. I mean, it will be a tough one for him if he starts. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to sort my computer out here as I end the stream.
No problem.
There we go. Okay, thanks for joining us, everyone. And it's been a good one. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video. Check out Glen Kightley as well, or Everything Arsenal. Thanks for watching.